Hello everybody and welcome to the LFC transfer room. Oh my god, we've done it. We've made it. For anybody who's just joining, for anybody who's watching in the future, we were meant to go live at 7:30. It's now 20 past 8 and we're just about going live. I bloody hate my computer. I hate technology. I hate everything at this moment in time. But thank you very much to anybody and everybody who's stuck around and is watching today. A bit of a damp squib on what's been happening, but bloody hell. Darwin Nunez, finally signed, eh? Finally signed. Look, plenty to get into. I know the title and the thumbnail seem to suggest a bit of a negative spin on things. I don't want it to come across like that. I just think it is worth something talking about. Obviously, Darwin Nunez is the biggest news of the night, and we have had that live stream already, and there's plenty more content over the next few days coming about Darwin Nunez, but please do stick around. Of course, a big story by Paul Joyce, or a big statement by Paul Joyce, is that it's likely Liverpool will target a midfielder next summer. To me, that suggests we will not be signing anybody else until next summer. Obviously, Calvin Ramsey is not a confirmed signing yet, but it looks like that will go over the line at some point, and it's been fairly known for a while that we are interested in him. But we'll talk about that in detail. We've got plenty of polls up on the page as well, so make sure you do go check those out on the community tab. We'll be going through those shortly, so please do get your votes in if you haven't done so already. Sorry if I'm lagging a little bit. I feel like my the stream's probably, my camera's just slightly laggy, but I'm just glad to be on, to be quite honest with you. What else we've got to talk about? Christian Eriksen. Now, before we get into that story as well, please do let me know. Would you take Christian Eriksen? He'll be a free summer signing. He'll be a free transfer. Let me know if that's someone that you would be interested in. Christian Eriksen. A lot of people are crying out for a big summer signing, a big midfield signing, a big attacking midfielder signing. Let's see. What do you guys think? Is he the answer? Could he work? Could he work in a Liverpool team? Could he work in a high pressing, counter pressing, gegen pressing team like Jurgen Klopp's? Would he be successful? Would he help us break down low blocks? And sort of tying it all in, this is a bit of a midfield show today. Real Madrid in the race for Jude Bellingham. Apparently, they're looking at it already, so maybe they'll be looking to make a move this summer. Touted fee of around £90 million. This is, if true, this is massive news. What are we going to do? What moves are we going to make? Are we going to let another midfield target slip through our fingers? And not only that, but also go to Real Madrid. Of course, Tchouaméni was a massive target at the start of the transfer window. He's already signed for Real Madrid. Are we going to let the same happen with Jude Bellingham? And could we get stuck with his younger brother, Job Bellingham? Let's see. Let's find out. Let's get into the discussion. I'm so glad to finally be on. I was raging. I was raging inside, but we've made it. So make sure, if you haven't done so already, that you do like this video. If you are new to the channel as well and you haven't done so yet, please do subscribe to the channel. It's a massive help for us. And yeah, I'm parched. I'm flustered. I'm rattled. But let's just get straight into the main story. The headline of this video: Darwin Nunez is now a Liverpool player. It's been known. It's been pretty much known for a fair few days, but we all wait for that official confirmation for the club. And at 7 p.m. today, or a couple of minutes before, it's been unveiled. He doesn't speak a word of English just yet, but he'll be quick. He'll be wanting to learn that pretty quickly. I'm so flustered, I forgot to mention, this is, of course, the chat room. This is by the viewers, for the viewers. So do get your thoughts in the live chat, get your comments, get your questions in the live chat, and we will go through them. We will answer them, and it helps me out as well. You know, it's great fun to sort of interact with each other, and you can get talking in the live chat as well. So do get involved in that. I put a poll out yesterday, actually. I like these polls. I'm going to make sure we do use polls a lot going forward. I put a poll out saying if we sign Darwin Nunez, which we have now done. What are your expectations for him? Is he going to be an instant success, or will he take time to bed in? Which I think is a pretty sensible statement, and I think it's a pretty sensible thing to discuss. We had over 323 votes, which is incredible. Thank you very much for that. 74% of you have said that he will be an instant success. Now that's brave. That is brave. Just bear with me one moment. Yes, 74% out of 323 people have said he'll be an instant success. And I don't think this necessarily puts pressure on him. The fee should do that already. But if Luis Diaz can do it, why can't Darwin Nunez? You know, he's a from this season gone, from the career he's had, he's a proven goal scorer. And he's not going to be playing with Benfica's players. He's going to be playing with Trent Alexander-Arnold, who's already made some comments about getting some assists for him. He'll be playing with Andy Robertson. He'll have Thiago pinging balls into him. He'll have Salah and, well, not Mane, maybe not Salah. He'll have Diaz, he'll have Jota, he'll have Firmino around him, playing those balls into him. All he's got to do is make sure that he's on hand to find the back of the net. So, look, this is a massive signing. Don't let anybody else tell you it isn't. And it's not 100 million. I know this has been debunked, but I just want to say it in case there's any knobheads who've joined us today. Good evening if you are a knobhead who's joined us. It's not 100 million. It's 64 million pounds plus add-ons, right? Those add-ons may not get met, or they may get met, but it's 64 million pounds. I don't know why people are going through the most expensive transfers in history, all of them with just the flat fee, and then there's Darwin Nunez there with a dash next to his name, the only one on the list with a dash next to his name, and then underneath saying this includes add-ons. Why is there a different rule for everybody else apart from Darwin Nunez? Give him a break. Give us a break. I'm sick and tired of it. This must be what it feels like to be Man City and be favoured by, have everybody favour your rivals over us. So do keep getting involved in the chat. Let me know how you are feeling about that Darwin Nunez news. It's massive. And of course, as Hyla pointed out, thank you for everybody getting involved in the live chat. He's taken Divock Origi's number. I saw some people on Twitter, they were like, too soon, man. It's too soon. You can't replace him that quickly. We should have retired it, shouldn't we? Number 27, we should have retired it. Yes, Alan, it's number 27. Divock Origi's old shirt. Rajesh says Salah's overrated for that 400k a week. Well, reportedly, that's what Sadio Mane's been after as well. So let me know whether you think it's the same for him. Soab Udin says, you think Klopp will favour a 4-2-3-1 with Carvalho and Elliott as a number 10? Well, that is another poll, and I'll just get straight onto it now because there's plenty to get through, and we are late already. The last poll that I put out today was voted on by 82 lovely people. What formation do you think Klopp will favour next season? Will he continue with 4-3-3 or look to reshape the midfield? The options were 4-3-3, 4-2-4 or a 4-2-3-1. 35% said we'll stick with the 4-3-3 in general. 57% said a 4-2-3-1. And just 7% said a 4-2-4. Now, you've got to remember, it's a bit regressive to look too strictly at formations, exactly where you expect a player to be, what that role constitutes, what they're going to offer and where they're going to be at all times. And for me, a 4-2-4 and a 4-2-3-1 with the players that we have and the way that we've played in the past and the players that we've got, I'd say they're pretty interchangeable. If I'm being honest, it probably feels a lot better to say a 4-2-3-1 because it feels like we've still got that midfielder, the number 10. But a 4-2-4 is pretty much how that would set up in the attacking sense. Without the ball, yes, it would probably become more of a standard 4-3-3. That's the interesting thing. But in attack, I would expect a 4-2-3-1 or / a 4-2-4 with whoever is in that, number 10 role, essentially being a second striker, which is something that, a lot of people don't like him, but Naby Keita, that's what he did on several occasions towards the back end of the season. So thank you very much to everybody who voted in that one. Anissa says, Louis, I really think we need to bring in a creative midfielder. The players we have are either inexperienced, injury prone or aging. In my opinion, lack of spark in the midfield did cost us the league and the UCL. Well, we'll move on and talk about that now. We can always come back to Nunez. Keep getting your thoughts in the live chat, everyone. It's great. It's great to be on. Make sure you do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. You can join our Discord for notifications whenever we go live, or you can press the bell notification. And you can also become a member of the channel. It's for as little as, I think it's $3.99 a month. I'm a member. Charlie's a member. And the ever-present Jen is also a member. So if you'd like to support the channel, you don't have to. No harm done if not, but if you would like to support the channel, get access to some nice badges to go next to your name and show your support, and in future some exclusive content, then please do press the link in the video description that will take you to the membership page, and you could join that, which would be pretty cool. But no, as I said, no need to do it. Yes, so the big story, apart from Darwin Nunez, which is the biggest story, is a comment from Paul Joyce, a pretty passing comment, saying that it's likely that Liverpool will target a midfielder next summer. Now, I think this has kind of undermined the Darwin Nunez hype a little bit. I think if they hadn't have leaked this, if Paul Joyce had kept this to himself for another week or so, we'd all be pretty chuffed about how the transfer window is going at the minute. You know, Carvalho's done already. Nunez is now done. Ramsey's on the way. Brilliant. Who are we going to sign in midfield? But now that story coming out a day or two before the reveal of Nunez, it's now like, well, if we're being rigid, if we want to be that rigid, I think Jay, who's in the chat, I think Jay mentioned this yesterday in yesterday's stream. If you had to choose between an attacker and a midfielder at the start of the transfer window, you'd pick a midfielder all day long. Maybe that depends on if you think Salah or Mane will go, or if both will go, or if neither will go. But I think even I would have, if you offered me an attacker or a midfielder, and you can only pick one, who would you pick to bring in? I would have gone for a midfielder. So now that we've signed Nunez, and it's, oh, we're not going to sign a midfielder, some people, the hype's going to wear off a little bit quicker than it might have done. And some people are going to start to, again, question FSG and their tight-knit ways, which is, you know, something we can go in a little bit to if we want to. Hyla says 4-2-4 is not a system that is manageable from the start. Klopp changes to that system often at the end of a game. Liverpool struggles at times to break down teams with a low block. Well, it's interesting that you say that, but I think we've been doing that because we're trying to build to it. Look at how many of our players at their previous clubs played in a team with a double pivot, or actually played in a double pivot. Nunez is no exception as well. I believe Benfica played with a 2, but some of the other players we've been interested in, I think Chouamini plays in a 2. And what this does is, because we play so high up the pitch. Thank you to everybody who's just joining, by the way. Please like, please subscribe, and all that good stuff. Feel free to get involved. We play so high up the pitch. We've got such a dominating goalkeeper who can basically run our half on his own. We've got Van Dijk, Matip, Konate, who are beasts in the air, but beasts with the ball at their feet as well. We've got Robertson and Trent, who are beasts with the ball at their feet and can pick a pass. You know, we've got a solid back four, both defensively and with the ball in possession. And then when fit, we've got Fabinho and Thiago. Now, when you've got those 5, essentially, is it 5? No, 6. 6 players, sorry. You know, obviously Trent bombs on, Robertson at times bombs on, and they switch it up. But when you've got those players solidifying the back, and our aim is to contain, and our aim is to get as many bodies in the box as possible, to play around with the ball and create openings, to break down these low blocks, which you've said we've not been as good at with a 4-3-3. You can sacrifice that midfielder. Now, this is what I mean. It's a little bit more abstract than just a solid 4-2-4. Like, as you picture it at kickoff with the pitch like that, and you got 4, 2 in the middle, and then 4 across the top. And that's how the game would kick off. Or that's how you'd see it on a map. But that's not exactly what it's like, if you get what I'm saying. I'm definitely going on a tangent here. But again, thank you to everybody who is joining. Let's go through the comments a little bit, just so we can get back on topic here. Looks like Liverpool have blown their money more or less on the Darwin Nunez transfer, and will use the rest of the transfer window to sell players to finance the Nunez deal. And that is a bit of a problem, isn't it? If that's what this is, that does seem like a bit of a problem, doesn't it? Jay says, the problem for me is if you're going to spend £80 million or so on Tchouaméni, obviously Klopp wants a midfielder, so how can signing a striker change the need for a midfielder? Well, this is it. And this is the kind of stuff that we may never know. If we'd have signed Tchouaméni, would we have still gone for Nunez? Is it because Real Madrid stole Tchouaméni that we upped our interest in Nunez? But if you're missing out on a midfielder, why would you then go and sign an attacker? So that kind of indicates that maybe we will still go for a midfielder. Or maybe we just, I think Jack made this point yesterday as well. I think maybe that we just don't know who the alternative would be. And that's not a lack of planning, but Tchouaméni is a bloody good midfielder. And he's a very specific profile who's very, very good at what he does. Maybe there just aren't those alternatives, and we don't want to sign the wrong player, sign a player who's limited at certain roles. I don't know. This is what the chat room is about. So you guys can keep on discussing that in the live chat as well, and I can kind of just pick up what I see in the live chat. Soab says, I don't think this will happen, but imagine Trent as a third midfielder with Ramsey at right back and Fabinho back up if they get injured. Yeah. I'm not sure, Calvin Ramsey, if that gets over the line, I'm not sure we'll see that. It's not the system of 4-3-3 that makes Liverpool struggle at times to break down a low block. Man City also play 4-3-3, even with inverted fullbacks. Excuse me. And they always seem to break teams. Well, that's an interesting change for both clubs, isn't it? I know that historically Man City have had Aguero, but his injury record, even when they had him, left a lot to be desired. So they actually kind of played with a false nine on many occasions, or, Gabriel Jesus filled in, but often they'd have one of those midfield players, even Kevin De Bruyne, Gundogan, Foden filling in number 9, and especially the previous season just gone. So, this is why we made that video sort of talking about Haaland and Nunez. So, do feel free to go and check that out as well. There's obviously a bit of a change in thinking, especially with us. There's a change in the way that Klopp wants to work. So we've gone for an out-and-out striker, which we've not had, at least in first-team contention, because Divock Origi was always there. We've not had for quite some time. I can't even remember who our last real striker would have been. I mean, Firmino is the false 9. Was it Balotelli, Barini? Oh, Danny Ings. We had Danny Ings as well. Michael Lee says, sell Salah now and cash in. Use the money to buy a strong midfielder. Well, people are talking about we're now in the position where we need to sell to buy. But if we sell Mane for 40 million, that's 2/3 of the Nunez deal made up for. And then, Taki 17 million. We're in a profit already. So I hope Paul Joyce has had a stinker on this one, or he's just been ill-informed, or the club are trying to misdirect people. But that feels a bit too clever for our marketing department. I don't know. But you really feel like if there was somewhere that we did need to strengthen this year, it was the midfield. We'll take Nunez. Thank you very much. But at the expense of a midfielder, I don't know. I don't think many people are going to be as convinced by that. Let me just have a look at some of the other polls that we put up. Yeah, I asked if we only signed one more player on top of Nunez, Carvalho and Ramsey, what specialist position would you like to strengthen? And we had 95 people vote on this, and the options were a number 6, so a backup, or a replacement for Fabinho, you decide. A left-sided number 8, so the controlling role that Thiago, Jones, sometimes Keita play, or the right-sided 8, which is our version of a number 10, the more attacking of the three. 25% said a number 6, 66% said a right-sided 8 and only 8% a left-sided 8. So I get the impression from that and from your comments that a lot of people think we do need an attacking midfielder. Anissa says, Louis, at this point, I actually want Madrid to make a move for Jude, so we swoop in Diaz style. I genuinely think that he would pick us over them. Yeah, I mean, you'd think so. He's an English boy, so maybe he'd have more of a draw to this club, but Real Madrid are getting into dangerous territory for the rest of the world, didn't they? They've got Tchouaméni, who else? And, you know, now they're in the running for Jude Bellingham, apparently. But I'd like to think you're right. There's no way that all of these rumours about Jude Bellingham have been false. For ages it's been like, oh yeah, next year we're going to sign Jude Bellingham. If Real Madrid make a serious move for him, surely, as Anissa says, surely we've just got to go all out. We can't let that slip through our fingers as well. We can't let two world-class, potentially generational talent central midfielders who would almost completely change how we play or change the quality of our starting 11 slip through our fingers to the same bloody opposition. Just from a pride point, we've almost got to just go and one-up them and buy him somehow. So that's another interesting development. Hyla says the problem now is that there aren't many midfielders around at that level and available. And Liverpool are also more specific in what type of players they want. It goes down to a personal level. I mean, the only positive is it's June the 14th. The window does not shut until the end of August. So there is time. Paul Joyce may well be wrong. I don't know if he's got it wrong many times before, but there is time for him to be wrong. Jay says we'd be lucky to get 80 million, mate, so no chance you get a class mid and forward with that. Well, yeah, if we're operating purely on buy to sell, then no way. But you'd think we had a bit of a kitty to spare, wouldn't you? I wouldn't expect us to splash out 160 mil without making money back. But if we make up the 64 on Nunez, there must be cash in the kitty to go out and buy some. If you go, I mean, not directly sell to buy kind of thing. I'm all over selling Keita. Yeah, well, that's a good question to put out to everybody else. What do we think about Keita? I think it was Sam Maguire put out some interesting stats on Naby Keita, and a lot of his key statistics, not only in his season in the Bundesliga, but I think either the year just gone or the year before, were very similar to Jude Bellingham's output. So go check out Sam Maguire on Twitter and find. It's not too long ago. Try and find that picture. I'm not suggesting that, you know, Naby Keita is as good as or better than what Jude Bellingham could be. But, you know, I think he gets a bad rap. And I've said it a few times. I don't want to repeat myself. I think he's hindered by what Klopp's current midfield is tasked with doing. And I think maybe he's better suited to that left-sided role as the controller. I think he's better behind the ball with a bit more time. I don't know. But let's move on again. And thank you very much everybody who has gotten involved. I'm sorry that we were so late. Technology, what are you going to do about it? Please do like this video. Please continue to like this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. We've hit 5,000 subscribers, and this Friday we'll have a special 5,000 subscriber quiz night. That will be on Friday night at 7:30 p.m, so stick around for that. And you can also become a member by pressing on the link in the video description. It's £3.99 per month to support the channel. All the money goes straight back into it to create more lovely content for you, such as the interview, which will be coming up after this stream. Michael Lee says Keita's shocking display at the Champions League final. Not the only one, though. And Soeb says always room for Keita, in my opinion. Christian Eriksen, right? I haven't seen too many comments. Maybe there were right at the beginning. But Christian Eriksen, I completely forgot about him, to be fair. Had half a season at Brentford under his wing after getting his pacemaker fitted and being told he couldn't play in Italian football because of that. But he was given a second chance at Brentford. And it's safe to say that in his 11 games, 939 minutes, he did a pretty decent bloody job. I've lost... Hang on a minute. He got 1 goal and 4 assists in 11 games, which isn't actually bad for a creative midfielder. And playing for Brentford as well, you've got to remember. If we look at some of his stats on FB Ref, which is a great place, not sponsored, by the way, his progressive passing distance is in the 97th percentile, so he's hitting those long balls a lot. He's in the 98th percentile for passes completed over long distances at 21.09 per 90, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. Assists-wise, again, it's a small sample size, 0.38 assists per 90 and expected assists of 0.35. So he's outperforming his expected assists, which again, I know is down to the goalkeeper, but also down to his quality. He's in the 99th percentile for most of those key metrics, including key passes, where he's averaging 3.07 per 90, and that is in the 99th percentile compared to the rest of the league. So he's not done. He's not done by any means. It's a pretty incredible return for him. You know, I expected him to struggle a bit. You know, a bit of anxiety about his condition, not wanting to overexert himself, but he's come back and more than hit the ground running. And, you know, despite his age, despite the fact that he wouldn't really fit, I'd still take him. I mean, what a brilliant short-term option for nothing up front. This would all be on wages and money going directly to him. So it doesn't. It's a win-win for me. It's a free hit. You don't get many of those for such a high-quality player. If he wants to find a way to learn how to run, much how Thiago did, what he said with Jurgen Klopp, he taught Thiago how to run. If he wants to invest into that, if he wants to get into the spirit of that and start doing that and become a part of the pressing machine, then hell yeah. I mean, that's obviously down to him. Anissa says, would you not be concerned about him coping with Klopp's intense playing style? So if you mean stylistically, yes. Obviously, it's never particularly been his game. And maybe he wouldn't be suited to the right side of 8. Maybe he would be, I don't want to say a backup to, but him and Thiago would be more suited to that left-hand side role, the controlling side, where he can be a bit more behind the ball. But again, he's still expected to run and press a lot. But in terms of the intensity, if you mean his heart, you know, we'd have to leave that down to the medical. I mean, if there's any chance, you know, whether you're running around a lot or not, football's bloody tiring and it will raise your heart rate. If there was any chance, I don't think you can play at Premier League level if there's any real risk beyond the average person. So, you know, his pacemaker's obviously there and he's got history. So I don't know if that makes you more susceptible or not, but they've got to be keeping an eye on him at all times, haven't they? There's got to be something in place to protect him. If he's at more risk than anybody else, they've got to be keeping more an eye on him. So that would be out of our hands. But if you can guarantee that, then hell yeah. Welshie, good to see you. Says evening all. Ericsson for free is better than neglecting a much needed area for another year. I mean, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you, and I agree with everybody saying that we need to get a midfielder this year. I've often been quite defensive of our transfer strategy, and I've always kind of erred on the side of trust the process because it hasn't really let us down much before. And this past season, it didn't let us down. Let's get that straight. We missed out on the league by 30 minutes and a dodgy refereeing decision in the Man City-Everton game. Yes, there were games we could have won, but bloody hell, we lost 4 games all year. Just let that sink in. This never happens. And the Champions League, Benzema was offside. The ball touched him on the way through. If not, he was blocking the views of others, making others act a certain way. If he wasn't there, he was offside. That goal shouldn't have counted. 0-0, extra time, penalties. Who knows? Maybe we win the Champions League as well. So the transfer strategy had bugger all to do with last year. If anything, it got us to where we were. It brought us Kanate, who was a fantastic addition and will grow into arguably one of the best centre-backs in world football. Based on what we saw last year, I'm pretty confident of that. But I'm not oblivious. I'm not oblivious to the obvious, which is Milner's getting older, Henderson's getting older, Fabinho, Thiago, Keita, even though we've got that new guy in who's working miracles with the injury crew, they are still injury prone. And, you know, Thiago missed the Carabao Cup final, almost missed the bloody Champions League final, which I don't know if that would have been a good or a bad thing now. We'll never know. It's an area we do need to keep on strengthening in. Of course, outgoings as well. Minamino can play there, but going. Oxlade-Chamberlain going. Elliott, is he ready? Don't know. We'll have to wait till pre-season in the first few games. Carvalho, is he going to be a midfielder? Is he going to be a winger? Is he going to be a false nine? We don't know. It feels like we need to take this opportunity to get someone with experience, with proven quality in. And if we're really that tight on the purse strings, then Christian Eriksen is a win-win. You can't lose by bringing in Christian Eriksen. You'd probably make up most of his wages with the bloody shirt sales and, you know, whatever else. There's no transfer fee for him. If he decides to buy in, which, you know, Klopp seems to be a good judge of character in that way, it'll be a massive success for us. Dropped points against Spurs, home and away, cost title. Yes, technically yes, but just think of the context, man. There's no guarantee that any other signings would have changed those games. You can't guarantee me that. Another squad option might have changed that. If Minamino started those games, he might have buried one of the chances. You can't prove me wrong. So I'm not, you know, in a season where we lost 4 times, I'm not up for any whatabouteries in terms of who we did or didn't sign, how we did or didn't play. You know, it could have been the signings. It could have been what we already had in the squad available. It could have just been somebody else taking the chances that we got. Bazuma also hanging a charge of violent conduct hanging over his head. Yeah, so he's moving to Tottenham by the looks of it, but he's got a charge against him for SA, hasn't he? So I'm not sure exactly what the situation is there. He's on bail the last thing I heard. So it's very strange what's going on. Basuma's on the move. And I don't know if this is true, but Greenwood's going to be joining back up with the Man United squad in pre-season, which, you know, there's been nothing to suggest that he's been found innocent or charges have been dropped. So I'm very confused. Christian King, good to see you, says sell Salah for Bellingham. Well, that reminds me, actually, we had a couple more polls. 1 or 2 more polls left, which I haven't talked about yet. So I just wanted to get what people's opinions were in terms of our ability to challenge for a title this year if these are the only signings we make. So by that I mean Carvalho, Nunez, and assuming Ramsey gets over the line as well. If we only made those signings, would we still be able to win the title and compete with Man City, who of course have signed Haaland and Alvarez and some others as well? So 104 people voted on this. 77%, which I found quite surprising, actually said we'll be neck and neck with Man City next year. So I'm glad there is some positivity about, in, you know, considering what's happened and how easy it is to kind of slip into that mindset. A lot of people still positive even if we don't get a midfielder in. I don't know if that applies to the live chat or not. We're just going to quickly cover Jude Bellingham because, of course, there's rumours that Real Madrid are now interested in him. So do let me know your thoughts on that in the live chat as well. This is Tuesday night chat room. It changes from week to week, but it's a weekly show. Please do like this video if you haven't done so already, and please subscribe to the channel. It's massively appreciated. You can, of course, also join our Discord server. The link for that is in the video description. And if you would like to, you can become a member. The link for that is in the video description. It's $3.99 per month. All proceeds go straight back into the channel to create content. You don't have to do it, but you get some nice exclusive badges which go next to your name, some exclusive badges you can post in the live chat. And in the future, you'll have some exclusive content coming your way as well, which will be nice. So if you would like to do that, support the channel, feel free to do that. Link in the video description. So, final story of today's chat room. Got there in the end. Real Madrid are apparently now in the hunt for Jude Bellingham for £90 million. Now, the whole thing around Jude Bellingham, apart from us clearly being interested, has felt pretty quiet up until now. But clever old me, thinking ahead. For the last few weeks, I've been thinking, why are we so assured that we could go out and get him next season when he's going to have another year under his belt, another year of crucial development at a club which are brilliant at developing young talent? He's going to potentially have a World Cup on his CV. Who knows how well he'll do in that, shining on the world stage for all to see. They'll be in the Champions League as well, Borussia Dortmund, so impressing on the European stage as well. And clubs will continue to get over the effects of COVID, and they'll have more money lying about. Real Madrid are no exception. So why were we so confident that, oh yeah, we'll get him next season, you know, we'll swoop in and get him, it'll be brilliant? This was always bound to happen. Now Real Madrid is sniffing about, so what are we going to do about it? For me, there's only one thing we can do. We've got to go in. We've got to go and get him now. And I don't know if we're going to do that. Because, you know, we've spoken... the whole thing about Nunez at the start was that we're not going to be sucked into any kind of bidding war. And it looks like we won that purely because Nunez preferred to come here than to Man United. But even though somebody, and I think I agreed with them earlier, said that he'd hopefully choose us over Real Madrid, you know, I don't think we can be so sure about that either, because it's a massive project. They're 14-time Champions League winners as well. Consistently winning their league. We don't have that luxury because we've got bloody Man City in our league as well. Consistently winning the Champions League. Winning cups left, right and centre. You're part of a truly gargantuan historic club. I know that applies to us as well. It really is. It really does become almost personal preference. Andrew says Bellingham too expensive. Is he really that good? Well, you know, for me, the jury's still out on that. Is he that good? Is he the man to revolutionise a midfield that's otherwise not been what people have expected? Is he the man to do that? Again, nobody could tell me that with 100% certainty. Conor Gallagher is a good shout, says Andrew. A good shout, but just unrealistic. It's just unrealistic. When was the last time, and I know someone's going to point it out, but when was the last time we signed from a rival Premier League club? It doesn't happen, and it certainly doesn't happen for us, to be honest. And Jay points out he's Chelsea through and through, but I don't think he's going to get game time. I don't think he's going to be a success at Chelsea, and he'll need to go elsewhere. Anissa says we should agree a deal this summer and loan him to Dortmund for the season. Win-win for all parties involved. Next summer there'll be too much competition. It's a risk, and you know we're at massive risk of it now. You know, it sounds simple, it sounds football managery, but that is a great suggestion. If Dortmund don't want to lose 2 star men in the same campaign, then we can loan him back to them. But are they worried that they're going to miss out? I mean, how much... I know that I've made this point already, but relatively, how how much more worth could he generate in a year? People are saying 80, 90 million pounds now. Let's say Dortmund get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Let's just say they somehow weasel their way through and he has a brilliant campaign. You know, assists a few, looks like he's matured a bit. Let's say England do okay in the World Cup and he somehow breaks into the team. I don't know how, because he doesn't sue whatever bloody Gareth Southgate's trying to do, but let's say he breaks into there and makes a lasting impression on the world with like a wild strike from outside the box or something of that ilk. And let's just say he's very consistent in the Bundesliga. How much would he go into the hundreds of millions? Would he double his value? I don't know. I don't know what his ceiling is. So, I'm kind of leaving that down to you guys. Said it like 100 times to be so bored of reading it, but go to Dortmund and say, here's Keita and 60 million for Bellingham. I think Keita, that's interesting. Because I'd say we'd still need somebody else then. I'd say we'd still need another squad option. So I just don't see how Milner can play next year. He just about got away with it this year. A lot of people were unhappy, but it's that spirit that he possesses that people kind of rally behind. Can he continue to do it next season? I don't know. Henderson, a lot of people want him to take a bit of a back seat. A few outgoings, a few injuries, and we're screwed. So I don't know, man. I really think before leaving, Klopp promised Dortmund that he'll never take their player, Royce, Götze, etc. Well, we tried to sign Götze though, didn't we? And Götze just chose not to come to us. Egyptian King says Bellingham would be an unreal signing for us, and Anissa says problem is that he takes another body out of the midfield. They would laugh in our face if we did that. Yeah, I don't think Harvey Elliott is ready, and I know he looked it at the start of last year, but he has had a horrific injury, so it's very interesting. Massive thank you to everybody who's gotten involved throughout the day, throughout the night. Those of you who stuck around from 7:30 onwards, massive thank you for that. And to everybody who got involved in the polls as well. It's been a busy day. We have, of course, signed, finally, Darwin Nunez. That is out of the way. We never have to worry about, is he going to sign? Is he going to fail his medical again? He is a Liverpool player until 2028, hopefully. And now we have the rest of the summer to ponder what will happen. Ramsey may be the next one through the door. Won't be quite as exciting, but another good addition, hopefully. But will Liverpool make any more significant signings? Will Liverpool make a midfield signing? Will we look to change things up and finally bring through what a lot of people have been demanding for weeks, months, years, that real that attacking midfielder with some real emphasis about him, some real oomph to bring to the midfield? And how will that alter our system? Will we finally change from the 4-3-3? Will we go for a 4-2-3-1, a 4-2-4? Plenty of questions to divulge into for the rest of the summer, really, and this is the best place to do it. So please do like this video if you haven't done so already. It's massively appreciated and really helps us out and makes me feel better for the stress of being so late. Please do subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't done so already. And if you'd like to support the channel, please do have a look at the memberships that we have on offer in the video description. You can join our Discord as well. We are going to be here every night. I'd like to say guaranteed at 7:30. From now on, it definitely should be. But 7:30 every single night, we go live. And throughout the day, we have 2, sometimes even 3 videos for you. And I do believe we've got an interview lined up for you just after this stream ends. So make sure you do stick around and check that out. Thank you very much, Egyptian King. That's very kind of you. Unknown says Henderson needs to be dropped. We need a midfielder bad. Get Paqueta. They want about 50 million euros. Well, now that the attacker is out of the way, the carousel of midfielders that we're linked to and in for is going to multiply quite quickly. So be prepared for a lot of coverage on that and a lot of potential news, potential fake news. We'll go through it all. We'll be Transfer Central tomorrow night, and of course the 5K quiz on Friday. massive thank you for getting us to 5,000 subscribers. So stick around on Friday 7:30. There's going to be a lot of us, 7, 8, 9 of us. I don't know, but James will be leading a quiz. You guys can all get involved in the live chat. It'll be a great laugh. The 3K one was fantastic. Go back and watch that if you'd like to. But every single night 7:30 we go live for all Liverpool content. Massive intro, a massive outro as well. I've gone on for a bit. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please have a nice rest of your Tuesday, and let's get through this heat wave. Take care.